Okay, we have been sent a case from a recent attendee of our Ultimate 3D integration workshop and just want to take a look at it. I didn't get any specific instructions as to what to look for, so I'll kind of go through this. There's a couple of things that pop out to me real quick. One is this is a digital workflow. We have more than enough teeth right here. We have all of that tooth, that tooth, that tooth, that tooth, that tooth, that tooth, and that tooth to do the integration. These two teeth will not work, that tooth will not work, and that tooth will not work because of the full coverage restorations. So on this particular case, I would take my digital ceric compression in this area here, do my virtual wax up with my tooth kind of right there to get ideal location, and then from that I would be able to integrate my data to get CAD-CAM. So here we can see that the CAD-CAM data has already been brought in. We got a full arch, we've got it well integrated, and now we can take a closer look here. So what I did was I duplicated the plan so that way we can compare the original plan to any adjustments that I may or may not make. And then the other thing I didn't get a chance to go over in the workshop was the ability to slice the volume here and then to lock it in place so that way we can take a look at it from the top here just like so. So it looks like we're using a BioHorizons 5.8 by 9mm implant. One thing I do want to point out here is it looks like based on where we have this, we're about 2 millimeters away from the nerve, and that certainly is what they generally recommend. Personally, I like to stay 2 to 3 millimeters away, but I wouldn't say that this right here is actually our nerve position. I would actually say that our nerve position is probably more along right there. So in actuality, we probably have a solid, let's see, actually let's just take a peek. We probably have a solid 3 to 3.5 millimeters from the end of our implant, so 4 millimeters to the end of the implant to the nerve. So I'm not as worried about my positioning for the nerve. I do also keep in mind that typically drills are about 1 millimeter longer than what you typically see here. The only other thing that I noticed in taking a peek at this is that I see that my occlusal plane is slightly tilted up here. So what I would like to do here is go ahead and bring that down, probably something like that a little bit. And now if we take a closer look at that again, we can see that our occlusal plane is much more level there. But in doing that, one thing I did do is we did move the implant to the distal. Okay, so what we'll have to do then is just to move it back over just like so to get that like that. Now, as I did discuss in the in our class, one of the things that we do have to keep in mind here and kind of keep track of, even though I gave you a checklist on ideal planning, is not every case is going to create ideal planning. Okay, because in this particular case, one thing we can see is that our implant position was going to leave a pretty big food trap right in here. So in a case like this, what I would actually do is I would actually go ahead and center my implant a little bit more between the two edges here, between there and there. I would get my implant a little bit more centered there, and then I would center it by using the tip feature here, and then I would go ahead and tip this to get it to get the restorative access centered there. The last thing is I can see that our central groove is right here, but yet our implant is planned a little bit to the buckle of that. So how I would handle this one is I would slightly tip it that way, and then I would actually take the apex of the implant and tip a little bit more, just like so, so that I'm a little bit more centered into the bone, like so. So ultimately, very minor corrections here. Um, and so we can take a look at this, the original plan, okay, compared to slightly modified plan. Not that big of a difference, but that's a little things that can create a little bit of a change for us there. So hopefully, and thank you very much for sending this in. I'm glad to see that we've already on Monday morning getting going. So I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.